Of the House Homeland Security Committee, Congressman Michael McCaul, thank you very much for being on the show this morning.
Thanks, Mika.
What is the latest from your perspective as you all bring in information on what transpired here?
He came in through a diversity program, a lottery program into Florida. Spent about 2-3 months in the New Jersey area next to a mosque, and then plotted this attack. This is, as your previous guest said, this is nothing new. Romani, magazine online from ISIS, has called for vehicle attacks. This would be the 9th vehicle attack since they proclaimed this. Sheikh Adnani is the one who said, kill the kuffar in your backyard by whatever means necessary. Don't come to Syria anymore. So this is the new sort of chapter of terrorism that we're seeing in the United States. I think, fortunately, we haven't seen as many in the United States as we've seen in Europe. But tragically, what happened yesterday was a horrible event that we need to, I think, take time to mourn and respect what happened. And then we'll deal with the policy issues, I think, later.
Mike Barnacle.
Congressman, Uzbekistan, pretty strong component, lethal component within ISIS and within the terror syndicates around the world. Were you surprised at the presence of someone from Uzbekistan on the west side of New York instigating this terror attack?
Yeah, we usually look at Iraq and Syria, Afghanistan. Uzbekistan has sent thousands of fighters to the region in Afghanistan and Syria to fight alongside ISIS, so I wasn't that much surprised. Not unlike when I wasn't surprised with the Boston bomber being a Chechen rebel. This whole part of the region has Muslim extremists there, and they're carrying out the call. In fact, I saw ISIS post just today, praising these acts and saying, don't let the death of Sheikh Adnani stop us to kill the kuffar again in the backyard. So this is going to be an ongoing threat that we face, but it is sort of diminished to vehicles and knives. Explosive devices still worry me, and laptops on airplanes that can be turned into bombs. One of the greater threats that we're facing to our aviation sector. And so I don't think this is the end of this by any stretch. They have been crushed in the caliphate. That's important to note, that they've been defeated in Mosul and in Raqqa. That's been demoralizing for them. However, their bandwidth over the internet can reach globally, and they can radicalize over the entire globe and all parts of the world to conduct terrorist attacks.
Congressman Clint Watts, as you just noted, we've had great success in both Mosul and Raqqa. The caliphate is essentially decimated in its physical form. But what would you expect, or what do you think our nation's strategy should be moving forward, as we tend to see foreign fighters who survive these battlefields move on and start elsewhere? What would you like to see this administration do moving forward?
There's a dual threat. Foreign fighters, majority came out of Europe. They've returned to Europe. That's Europe's problem. It's our problem. We don't want them on airplanes coming into the United States. We've had a couple of hundred leave the United States, and some have come back. We are monitoring those foreign fighters. I think the greater threat is what NYPD calls flash to bang, where you have somebody like this guy who within a matter of months goes from a flash to a bang in New York City. And so that's the more difficult challenge to stop. A lot of soft targets, both in New York and the Capitol right behind me. And how do you stop a vehicle attack or an IED or a drone attack or any of these myriad of options that they have as they spread their propaganda over the internet? Quite frankly, I think the technology companies have a moral responsibility to take down this jihadist material like sermons of Awlaki and others off of the internet, because that is their power. Bin Laden didn't use the internet. ISIS, they do. They're a new generation of terrorists. And I think we need to start looking at the internet and taking their power away from them.
Congressman Michael McCaul, thank you very much for being on the show this morning.
Thank you, Mika.